Hi guys! Now, I know what you're thinking, Says. Why are you filming a video at the last minute? What's going on? Well, I have a lot of explaining to do, but first of all, hello again. Makes me feel quite awkward doing this. And I'm such a mad person because by the time I'm recording this, I'm recording it about nearly 9 o'clock this morning. And normally I'm not a morning person, but I'm doing this in the name of YouTube and autism. I was given a last minute opportunity to react and to give feedback on a video that the National Autistic Society has just uploaded on their social media. And I found that this special video is part of their Too Much Information campaign, which centres around how autistic people feel when they cannot cope with changes. And that involves public transport, which is the main centre of the video. And although I have read the synopsis about it, I haven't seen the video yet. So I'm going to have a little watch of the video and then I'm going to give some feedback.
We're sorry to announce the train has been delayed. Please listen for further announcements. This train is diverted.
Sorry.
I'm autistic, and the fear of unexpected changes can make leaving the house impossible.
Well, I have to say that this video was really good. It's made me jump at certain times, but I feel that this video has a really big connection to me because of a few different reasons. If you know me in real life, then you may know that I'm not an independent traveller. So this means I have to go on public transport with my carers, members of my family or my friends. And when I normally go on public transport, I normally go on a train. When I am with someone who I know, I tend to get very fidgety and very anxious, and that's always been a part of me since I was younger. I don't really tend to show my anxiety and my fears and emotions, and instead I tend to mask it. I didn't when I was younger because when I used to hear the words delayed or diverted on trains, that's when I start to get very panicky. I tend to shake, I tend to like get my shoulders moving up and down. I always look around to my parents to say, what do I do, what do I do? And they have to calm me down saying, it's okay, don't worry. And I thought, okay, I'm just with you, I know who to trust and I'll be fine. But as I got older, I didn't really come out of this, but I actually showed my anxiety in a very different way, especially when it comes to the London Underground. And when I actually sit on a train, I don't really get too worried if the train is diverted or delayed, but just sitting in a carriage or even standing in a carriage makes it very awkward. When I sit down on a chair, I actually tend to try and relax. What I do to relax is that I turn my head over to the window as if I was watching the world go by, and that usually distracts me of what's happening. But if the noises become unbearable, I just really cannot take it. And I'll give you an example of this because I travelled into London yesterday with a friend of mine, and going down was sort of okay and I was completely fine, but going back, oh my goodness, it was much harder. I tend to be very anxious when I hear different noises and see a lot of different lights in enclosed spaces. But what makes it really worse is when you are trying to make conversation with the person next to you, especially if it's with the person you know. And in this case, It happens quite a lot, and this generally happens when I feel very, very tired, physically and emotionally. But I do find my ways just to try and distract myself, and what I tend to do, especially when it comes to the London Underground, I try to look at the train stops. So if you've been on a London Underground train, then you'll know the signs that tells you which station is which. And normally I tend to look up with my chin high and just read the train stations. Angel, Baker Street, Westminster, and so on and so forth. But I tend to get really odd looks from passengers, and after I actually look down to give my neck a bit of a rest, I tend to see people around me just looking at me like, what's she doing? And I just say to myself, oh God, really? It makes me super awkward, and I really do not like it at all. As a woman on the autistic spectrum, I tend to find myself very vulnerable, especially I am with a person who I know. And the reason why I feel vulnerable is because that you hear a lot of things that are happening. You hear about stories that happen to women a lot. You hear about things that can happen late in the night, and it tends to make you a little bit more worried than usual. And although I normally go into London and back during the day, when it comes to going back at night, that's when I tend to get a wee bit frightened. This is going to make it a bit more tricky if I want to travel independently, because if I want to do some things like find a proper job, or maybe do some public speaking, or travel to different film studios if I'm doing some acting, I know I have to face my fears sometime, but it's not really going to be easy, and I have to take things one step at a time. And so with that, I'm going to be drawing this video to a close. I'm sorry if the light's shining onto me a little bit. I've done my best just to keep it out, but since it's early in the morning, it's a little bit more trickier than usual. So I really do apologise. And I want to give a big, huge thank you to the National Autistic Society for allowing me to film this video today. I feel so honoured, and I wish you the best of luck for your campaign, because I know you can do it. Yay! I have got a second video coming up today, and that was the video I was scheduled to upload for the start of World Autism Awareness Week. So until then guys, I hope you have a wonderful morning / afternoon or evening, depending where you are in the world. And until then, I will catch you guys later. Bye bye!
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.